Hello, hello. Welcome to Odds on La Liga. It's match day 25. 10 games to analyze and share tips in the show and to guide us all through that La Liga journey. As always, we have Alvaro Romeo. How are you, Alvaro?
Very well, thank you, Leo. Looking forward to doing this.
Absolutely. But before we got going with the show, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. Now, here we go. Alvaro, we start with a very interesting opener on Friday. We have Cadiz Getafe. As bad as January has been for Getafe with 4 defeats, although the caveat is that 2 of them has been against Betis and Barcelona, which is not a shame, absolutely. More damaging maybe the Espanyol and Sevilla ones for Getafe. In the last 5 games, we have seen a magnificent turnaround anyway. Draws against Atlético Madrid and Rayo, but wins against Valencia and Girona. The only downside being the defeat with Villarreal. Getafe is only out of the red zone on goal difference, but the confidence is much higher than that. I can believe. And for Cadiz, who are up 1 point only above Getafe, the consistency has been slightly better, especially at home. 3 wins in a row in that condition, although I believe a great point they took on the road as well against Real Sociedad last match day 24. Is that home run, I believe, what makes Cadiz favorites here for the bookies? We have odds of 260 for a Cadiz win.
Yeah, the truth is that Cadiz has been very good lately. Not only they've got 6 wins in the league, but 4 of them in 2023. Also, on Friday, they drew with Real Sociedad 0-0. We're talking about a week ago or 6, 7, 8 days ago. But they are also unbeaten in their last La Liga 9 home games. So that tells you that they are becoming like a very safe side when it comes to playing in their own ground. And the truth is that, you know, they have become a unit. Also, they are a team that has a very distinct style, Leo, in the sense that, for example, they are in La Liga the team with the fewest possession and the team with the fewest shots on target, and yet they are maximizing or capitalizing on the little things they do. Defensively, they are good, and then offensively, they do little, but what they do, more or less, they know how to profit it. But this is a proper 6-pointer, really. I believe that despite the point tally, they got Cadiz 26 after 24 games, Getafe 25 after 24 games. They're going to be in the mix pretty much until the end. And there is here a peculiarity in this season that I think that shouldn't go overlooked, which is the fact that maybe 35 to 38 points are not enough to stay in La Liga this season. Valencia, who is 19th right now, almost bottom of the table, they've got 23. Almeria, 18th, they've got 25. So all these sides, Getafe, Cadiz, Sevilla, Valladolid, Espanyol, even Celta maybe, Almeria, Valencia, of course, they will have to start getting the points as soon as possible. And these games, you know, they have to deal with them very carefully. Getafe, for example, they won in the weekend. At home, they are becoming a little bit stronger. They won 3-2 with 𝐜𝐴Z𝐵, again, one of their best strikers, again in the score sheet. I mean, in fact, the Turkish man has scored over the 40% of the goals of Getafe this season. So for this game, look, you look at the odds and straight away, it's nice to see that the home side has a 260 or 255 in this case before the game starts. Yeah. And I don't see why that shouldn't happen. But on the other hand, since I think that this game is going to be a little bit tactical and nervy, I could go for an ace and handicap 0 for Getafe in the first half. And I think that one is pretty decent too. I mean, if they win the first half, you win it. And if they draw, you get a stake refund. But yes, if I have to back someone to win, has to be Cadiz, as you said, because it pays good money, number 1, and number 2, because Cadiz has a very good run at home lately. As I said before, I mean, the amount of games that they have gone unbeaten in their home turf is excellent. 9. So why not to think that they can get the victory here?
And absolutely crucial for the relegation battle to do well at home. Now then, we have Real Madrid Espanyol in the Bernabeu. Alvaro, Madrid trailing 9 points behind Barcelona. 7 of those points dropped in the last month in Mallorca and in the last 2 consecutive draws, Atlético and Betis last weekend. Next week, Madrid has the Champions League round of 16 return leg with Liverpool, so we will see if there will be changes or not on Saturday. Espanyol won a point in the Wanda Metropolitano, won a point in the Camp Nou, won 3 points in San Mamés, although that was at the beginning of the season. To leave the Bernabeu with something, it might be too much asking, but double chance in the first half, odds of 2.25 for that, may not be out of reach, at least to hold on the first half. What do you think, Alvaro?
I went for the opposite a little bit, Leo, to tell you the truth. Yeah. No, I went for the opposite because I went for the halftime, full-time market, which is something that I don't choose very often. But, there is a justification for that. Let me tell you. To start with, Real Madrid has drawn the last 3 games they have played. They drew 1-1. No, sorry. They lost to Barcelona. And in between, they drew a couple of games in La Liga against Atlético de Madrid with a goal from Alvaro Rodríguez, and then the last game in La Liga against Betis. Yeah. So basically, they are winless in the last 3 games, but in La Liga, they are winless in 2. And they have scored only 1 goal in 3 games, and it was that goal by Alvaro Rodríguez. So, it was concerning to see that against Barcelona and against Betis, not only they didn't score, but they didn't create many chances either. And I think Real Madrid needed a little bit of a reset. They've been playing midweeks, they've been playing a Club World Cup. They have played a lot of games in 2023, a lot. And finally, they had a week just to regroup, a week to rest a little bit, probably to wipe out the bad thoughts as well. And I think that this week has been very refreshing for them, and maybe as well for 𝐜𝐭𝐴𝐻𝐿 to regain his best fitness. I know that, for example, Ferland Mendy, the left back, a player that they have been missing, is about to return as well. So, it's been a very soothing week for Real Madrid. I'm pretty sure about that. And now they've got their eyes on Liverpool. But there is a narrative in Spain saying that Real Madrid won't win this league because Barcelona is too far. And I totally disagree with it. Because they are only 9 points away from each other. But this weekend, Barcelona plays in Bilbao, historically a ground that they are finding it difficult. And then the next week is El Clásico. In an unexpected turn of events, maybe when we go to the international break, Real Madrid is only 3 points away from Barcelona. So I think that Real Madrid knows that. And I'm going to back Real Madrid in the halftime, full-time market, meaning that they will win the first half and then keep the win in the second half. That pays 180. Vinicius to score 2.2. I like this one too. But Real Madrid to win the second half is going to be one of my safe bets here. That pays 156. I know that they haven't done it in the last 3 games, but if you check the numbers this season, Real Madrid has won the second half plenty of times. So I'm going to go for that one. And on top of that, this fixture is normally a very easy one for Real Madrid. Real Madrid has beaten Espanyol more than any other side in La Liga history. Real Madrid has won the last 8 home La Liga games against Espanyol with an average of 2.9 goals scored. And I think that Espanyol doesn't have just maybe the strength to inflict a defeat to Real Madrid, not even to get a draw. It's true that, for example, 𝐿 is a player who historically does very well against Real Madrid too. He has scored 7 goals in 9 La Liga games against Real Madrid. But still, I don't think that this is the right place for Espanyol to get the points. I think Real Madrid is going to get an easy one here.
So if they're going to be Real Madrid goals in the second half, you mentioned Vini, you mentioned the possibility of Benzema coming back to his best displays and back to goals. Benzema to score anytime, 1.8 as well, adding to what Alvaro was telling us about Real Madrid and Espanyol. Now we can move on to Elche Real Valladolid. Alvaro, since the 3-1 win against Villarreal at the beginning of February, even when losing, like with Espanyol or with Betis, the improvement of Elche is there for anyone to be seen. And the latest example was Matchday 24 with an away win in Mallorca. I don't think this will be enough to hold any hopes of surviving, but at least to say goodbye in a better shape. For Valladolid, looking at the position in the table, 14th, they could feel safe, but it's so tight down there that to feel safe is only to be 2 points above the relegation zone. Away from home, they lost 7 of the last 8, so a trip to Elche, this Elche, could become tricky, maybe to say the least. The odds are showing that 271 for an Elche win and 2.88 for Valladolid win. So what's your take here?
Look, when I was preparing this game, I was looking at it and saying, if I've got any pass this weekend, it has to be this one. But then I realized that the draw in the halftime, for example, is always a market that tends to happen a little bit when two teams of this caliber face each other. Valladolid has improved a lot in the firepower department. From 2023 onwards, they are scoring more goals, that's for sure. And they've got a very good manager like Pacheta, who, by the way, managed Elche in the past, and I think that he's respected at Elche. But Valladolid got only 7 points away, and also they lost 7 of their last 8 La Liga away matches. It is at home where they have created a little bit of a fortress and where they get their biggest booty. However, they are traveling to Elche. And I know that Elche, they have shown signs of improvement. I think it's too late for them to stay in La Liga. It's a little bit like Levante last season, that they were doomed, but sometimes they were getting a win here and there, and they make you think for a second, oh, maybe they can make it. But that Levante was way better than this Elche, and they could score many more goals. This Elche is worse, and on top of that, their best striker is out, Peremilla, so that makes it more difficult for them. Elche, however, they have won 2 games in La Liga, one in February, one in March, and they beat Mallorca, surprisingly. They have a chance here to win back-to-back games for the first time since April 2022, that's for sure. But I think that this game is going to develop slowly. So, for example, a first half draw is pretty decent here, 2-12. But I've got a range, Leo, a list of draws that go from little money to good money that I want to break down with you. To start with, a draw at 30 minutes is the less speculative I've got, but that pays less as well, 157. Yeah. But I really like this one, draw at 30 minutes. The first half draw is 2-12, but if you are going to go for the first half draw, which is obviously more speculative than a draw at 30 minutes, why not to go for a 0-0 in the first half? Because I don't think that they will score in the first half if they draw. That will pay 270. And a draw at the end of the game, 335. So there is a huge range in there, and I think that the game is going to be drawn for a big part of it. So I could easily go for a draw at 30 minutes, 157. Why not? Or a 0-0 in the first half, 270.
I like the possibilities, the range of choices for a draw in the first half, especially as you said, in these kind of games, which are going to be, we believe, so cagey, so nervy when like two teams battling in the relegation place, or even when we are thinking about teams fighting maybe for European places or at the top. First half, they tend usually, yes, to be a little bit more cagey than second half. So that's what we got for you guys on Elche against Real Valladolid. Now we are moving into Celta in Vigo against Rayo Vallecano. Rayo pushing for European competition places, although the latest harvest of points have not been great. 9 out of possible 18 in La Liga. 3 draws in the last 4 La Liga matches. The last one away against Atlético de Bilbao last weekend, which is not something bad per se. For Celta, Alvaro, to have taken 4 points against Valladolid, Real Sociedad and Osasuna, having played 2 of those games away, I don't think it's negative neither. 2 of the last 3 head-to-head ended in a 0-0 draw. Do you think are we going into the same direction this Saturday?
Well, Rayo drew 0-0 last weekend as well. Do you remember, against Atlético Bilbao? And the truth is that last weekend we had 4 0-0s. So it's becoming a little bit of a of an upsetting tendency, even though I have to remark here that those 4 0-0s were very, very entertaining. Rayo Atlético Bilbao.
They are not synonyms of a bad game, the 0-0.
No, not at all. Well, I think that you and I, Leo, lately we did a very good 0-0 also at work, but I can't remember which one it was. But there was a fantastic 0-0 not long ago in the Premier League too. But anyway, yeah, no, they are sometimes not a synonym of a bad game. Of course, not at all. But I think that, this is the kind of game in which I can expect perhaps goals happening because Rayo Vallecano has always like a rather attacking approach, even though sometimes their strikers are not delivering, and because Celta are playing at home, and because there is a footballer that we haven't mentioned for 5 weeks for obvious reasons. It's 𝐜𝐭𝐴 Aspas, because he's been scoreless in the last 5 games, and I think that this is an oddity. I mean, this is his worst run in a while, and I think that 𝐜𝐭𝐴 Aspas can score here. Not only that, Leo, 𝐜𝐭𝐴 Aspas hasn't had a single shot on target in the last 5 games. So I think that this game will have a few goals. Both sides drew 0-0 last weekend, but Celta against Osasuna in another very entertaining game. But I think that here good things can happen. So I'm going to be positive. I'm going to stay positive for this game. Over 2 goals, 180. I like this one. And Rayo Vallecano, really, despite the recent performances or results, to be more precise, Rayo Vallecano a month ago were 5th on the table, and they are not particularly worse than they were in January or February. It's been just a matter of not scoring. So against Atlético Bilbao, they did a very good performance, and I think that away at Celta de Vigo ground, they can definitely score a goal. So over 2 goals, 180.
Perfect. And if you think both will score, both teams to score, if your answer is yes, it's 2.16 in this Celta de Vigo Rayo Vallecano. The next one, Alvaro, is difficult to grasp, at least for me. Maybe you can give me
very difficult.
A clue. Why so much favoritism on Valencia against Osasuna in Mestalla? Yeah. Because the away form of Osasuna is not negative. 4 draws and 1 win in the last 5 games on the road, and Valencia in the home league table is 14th. However, it's 4-10 for an Osasuna win. It's true that Osasuna does not score too much away, just 10 goals in 12 games. Goals under 2.5 at 1.65 for this Valencia Osasuna. But I was shocked to see those odds on Osasuna win 4-10 again.
It's too much. It's too much, I think so too. Look, a double chance for Osasuna, for example, 180, which is not a crazy thing. 180, not bad at all. I know that for Valencia this is an all or nothing, really, as you will understand why, because at the end of the day they are in relegation. They've got only 23 points and they are 2 points away from safety. And the truth is that their form has been appalling. I mean, they've got 3 points 2 weeks ago, but other than that, they got 3 points out of the last 30. And the truth is that at Camp Nou, they could have gotten a little bit more if they had been a little bit more daring, because they were playing against a 10-man Barcelona for a while, but then they are lacking so many things. For Valencia, it's imperative that their best players are on the pitch. And I think that if Cavani, 𝐿𝐭𝐴, Nico, Pereira, I mean, some players that are so important for them are out of the game, then Valencia will find it very difficult. And they've got also a problem with personalities as well. Many players are very young, and I don't think that they are ready for this pressure. By the way, I said Pereira before. I meant Andre Almeida, a fantastic midfielder. But for this game, I think that I could back Osasuna at some extent. For example, with a double chance, 180, as I said. Even a draw for Osasuna, 325 is pretty decent too. But I do believe that Valencia is going to attack more because they have to, because they are obliged to, basically. So I'm going to go for the corners market. Asian handicap corners -2 for Valencia, 195. And this is the bet that I am more happy with because I believe that the game plan is going to be something like that. It's not that Osasuna is going to defend very hyperbolically, but I do believe that Valencia is going to attack with everything they've got. And as a result of that, they will probably create more corner chances. So an Asian handicap corners -2 for Valencia, 195. And then let's see what happens. I mean, it's not good for Valencia that Gabriel Paulista is out because he's one of the best defenders they've got. Maybe Nico and especially 𝐻𝐿𝐴 could return, which is always good. And then Osasuna, look, they beat Sevilla doing 8 changes to the lineup only 2 weeks ago. Then they beat Athletic Club Bilbao in the cup. And then they drew with Celta. And they got 5 draws in this calendar year. So they are the masters of drawing. So as I said, a draw, 325, good enough for me, but especially the Asian handicap corners, -2 for Valencia, 195. And then one more thing. If you want to go for the individual market, which I don't particularly do when teams of mid-table play against each other, I have to single out a player very quickly. It's Ante Budimir. Him to score pays 4.2. And he's been involved in 4 goals in the last 3 games against Valencia, with 3 goals and 1 assist. So if there is a side that has been suffering the quality of Ante Budimir, has been Valencia over the last 2 years, just for you to know. If you believe in this kind of karma, then you can back Ante Budimir as well, because him scoring pays 4.2.
And on the Asian handicap corners point you were making, to be honest, if you are fighting relegation, you are playing at home, if there is something you're going to be doing is to send crosses into the box. You send crosses into the box, that's going to lead you into corners. So that could be also, as you said, the Asian handicap corners -2 for Valencia, a good option. Now is the turn of Mallorca Real Sociedad, which I'm looking forward. La Real has the third best away record with 25 points on the road, but Mallorca has built their position this season mostly on home form. 20 out of the 31 points they have were won in the island. Surprisingly for them last weekend with Elche, they could not take even a point. Real Sociedad continues, but I think this deep in form, 2 draws and 1 defeat in the last 3. The goals record for Mallorca, though, is not that amusing. 12 in 12 home games. So taking that into account, maybe a first half Asian handicap 0 for Mallorca has odds of 2.28. But what will you take this route? Will you go for different in this Mallorca Real Sociedad?
No, I'm going to be, I think, rather conservative for this game as well. And what you said, Leo, was more or less conservative too. And I like that one. I didn't think of the first half market particularly for this game. But it's good because also don't forget that Real Sociedad will be playing against Roma in the Europa League, and maybe they arrive into this game with a little bit of fatigue, and then in the second half, normally it goes like this. I mean, these are professional players, and you tend to think, oh yeah, in the second half they are going to be knackered, but it's normally the other way around. It's the first half that they start slowly after they have played in Europe, and in the second half, you know, they manage to release all the energy they have left in their legs because they are professional footballers. But look, for this game, I was thinking that Mallorca is going to find it slightly more difficult than normal because Murici is suspended and because he's got an accumulation of yellows, and he has been one of the outstanding players of Mallorca. Then in the game against Elche, yes, they lost. The result was not deceptive, but Mallorca players were fuming with the referee, and Maffeo, even the right back, said that he cannot understand the VAR because the goal of Elche was very controversial. Mallorca thinks that they genuinely deserve a point against them. But, you know, that's history, and they are receiving Real Sociedad. They are welcoming them. And Real Sociedad, they have been rather reliable this season. Even the draw against Cadiz was pure Real Sociedad. On a bad night at home, they managed to get a draw. Real Sociedad this season, they are doing that very well. So I'm going to go for the following. An Asian handicap -0.25 for Real Sociedad. That doubles up your bet. In fact, 205, meaning that if they win, they win. And if they draw, you suffer just half a lose. And there is a small combination that I could do here because Real Sociedad is the master of the short results, and the shortcomings of Mallorca are very obvious, especially if Muriqi is not playing. So the combination is the following. A double chance for Real Sociedad, x2, and under 2.5 goals in the game, 1.8. But personally, I prefer a little bit more the Asian handicap -0.25, and I tell you why. Because it's not a combination.
Perfect. So that's the take for the Mallorca and Real Sociedad match on Sunday. Then the one to analyze, to be honest, Alvaro, the next one, I would have never thought at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the season in La Liga, that it was going to have some relevance on the relegation battle. mostly because it's Sevilla involved. It's Sevilla against Almeria in the Sanchez Pizjuan. They are level on points, but Sevilla is out of the red zone on goal difference, -12 for them, -14 for the visiting side. Almeria is that curious case of a team fourth in the home games table, 22 out of 25 points won in front of their own fans. On the road, no wins registered yet, which is a terrible thing when you play the way like this weekend, but maybe not that terrible if the team you are facing is this Sevilla, who was thrashed 6-1 against Atlético in the Wanda Metropolitano last match day, and who seems to be incapable of registering two decent performances in a row. All this said, Sevilla is largely the favorite for the bookies, 1.69 for the Sampaoli's team win. Almeria just 8 goals on the road in 11 matches. Could you expect goals here? Maybe again a nervy and cagey match, especially because of Sevilla playing in front of their own fans.
I think that I could expect, for example, maybe a Nesiri stepping up, to be honest. Not necessarily Leo going for many goals in the game, but just trusting on a footballer who has been very pivotal for Sevilla lately. I'm going to start with the individual market and then I will do the analysis of the game. But El Nesiri, just very quickly, 𝐿 scored 5 goals in the last 6 games, and 𝐿 scored 5 goals in the previous 39 games. So the improvement has been there, especially after the World Cup. So why not to think that El Nesiri can score? That pays decently, pays over 2. And now coming into this game, to start with, we have to say that Sevilla sees themselves in this terrible situation, and I believe that if they want to stay in La Liga, they will have to win at home, because away from home they've been so poor that I think that at home is where they are going to find their best points, their most points. They got 15 points at home this season, 1-5 is not a lot, but before losing to Osasuna, do you remember that they lost 3-2 2 weeks ago? They recorded 4 straight wins at home. And I think that this is one of these games against Almeria, an Andalusian derby, and a chance, again, to become stronger at home. They are coming at the back of 2 very bad defeats, 3-2 against Osasuna, 6-1 to Atlético de Madrid. And then I know that Fernando and Montiel are not ready for this game. Pape Gueye is suspended too. These are physical and good players that defensively offer a lot. And Sevilla has conceded 39 goals this season. I mean, at the end of the day, Diego Carlos and Koundé left, and this is something that Sevilla was always going to suffer. But still, I think that they are better than Almeria. Almeria away from home is the worst side in La Liga to start with. They've got only 3 points away from home this season. They have been winless in 18 away games. And I think that this is the time for Sevilla to start getting the results at home, because if they don't get relegated, it's going to be thanks to their performances in the Sanchez Pizjuan. And right now they've got games at home against Almeria, Celta, Villarreal, Girona, and Espanyol. 5 straight games at home, and I think that they will get many points from those. And my prediction is that Sevilla will not get relegated, because in the next 5 games at home they are going to do the job. By the way, the last 2 games at home are against Real Madrid and Betis, so they better do the job before May. I'm going to back Sevilla to win, 163, and maybe a Nesiri to score for the reasons I said before, but Sevilla to win, 163. I'm not going to move myself from there. I think that this is good enough already.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a moment to step up. It has to be now against Almeria. And to be honest, to see at this time of the season that the odds for a Sevilla win against a team like Almeria being decent at 1.63, even closer to 1.70, it tells you a lot as well about the season Sevilla Sampaoli is having. The next one, Alvaro, is one to watch this coming weekend. Yeah. Very interesting one. Villarreal at home against Betis. Villarreal has the chance of reducing the gap to only 1 point with Betis in a case of a win. Gerard Moreno earned more minutes in the 2-0 defeat of Almeria. 𝐬𝐭𝐴, as you mentioned in the previous show, made the return after 4 months. For Betis, a 0-0 at home with Real Madrid can never be seen as a bad result, and a Champions League spot is only 3 points away from them. Villarreal, with 7 wins at home, are favorites for the bookies. The potential for goals is there in this fixture, I believe, Alvaro. I will listen to you. Goals over 2.5 with odds close to 2. But do you see it similarly?
Yeah, of course. And I went for both teams to score 183, but over 2.5 goals is something that I will be very comfortable with as well. Look, what happened in the last 3 weeks in La Liga is that I think that we have redefined which 6 clubs are going to qualify for Europe for the next season. I think that we have done it. Villarreal is 6th right now at the back of 2 straight wins, and Real Betis is 5th comfortably. Rayo has dropped from there. Osasuna has dropped from there. Athletic Club Bilbao is losing points. And I think that the 6 that we have now in the top 6 of La Liga, they are going to qualify for Europe because they are the best 6 sides in La Liga right now. Villarreal, in a way, thanks to the return of Gerard Moreno. Gerard Moreno is scoring again, but also Morales, el comandante, the former Levante striker, a very veteran player, he has scored in 3 games in a row right now, and he's having a terrific performance for Villarreal. Let's don't forget that this guy, he didn't even want to leave Levante, but he understood that this was his last chance to play for a good side, because he's turning 36 this year. Then 𝐜𝐭𝐚𝐲 has been playing really well, and I think that in attack he's offering a lot to Villarreal. And then Jeremy Pino, sometimes he's got shortcomings, but at the same time, he's a young player with plenty of talent. So Villarreal has been doing the job, and up front, they've got plenty of firepower if Gerard Moreno is back. This game, by the way, is the game of managers who are returning to face their previous club, because Pellegrini was the manager of Villarreal in that glorious period at the beginning of the century, and Quique Setién, when Juan Román, 𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐵, what a shame, he missed that penalty, and Quique Setién was the manager of Betis for many years. When it comes to Betis, look, they got 3 wins and 1 draw in their last 4 games in La Liga. It's a good run, definitely. William Carvalho is suspended for the game, and he offers a physicality in midfield that shouldn't be forgotten. But the other day, I was very impressed with the quality of Rodri, the Betis footballer who played against Real Madrid, a fantastic game, and I cannot wait to see him again, because I think that if he offers these kind of performances, even Luis de la Fuente, the manager of Spain, should be thinking of capping him for the March international break. But for this game, as you said, these sides, both of them are playing in Europe on Thursday, so we have to wait and see to see what happens, for example, with Betis at Old Trafford. But both teams to score is pretty decent here. 183, I love it, really. I'm going to go for that one.
And the one before the last is Athletic Bilbao Barcelona. The culés are in the mood of, it seems, of let's get this La Liga season wrap up. Even if we have to win ugly, we will take it with open hands, because we need to win La Liga this season in order to believe the club is moving somehow forward. There is no tomorrow for Barca if there is not La Liga title to celebrate in May. If we have to win ugly, at least by the club standards in the Bernabeu, they will do it. If that will take them closer to a Copa del Rey final, no problem at all. At the moment, that seems, maybe I'm wrong, but the feeling around the Camp Nou, bring title first and the rest can wait. On match day 24, a narrow 1-0 win against Valencia, which you mentioned before, at home, even with 10 men after Araujo saw red card in the second half. It could have been 2, it's true, but Ferran Torres missed a penalty. How important is this fixture for Barcelona, Alvaro, but also for Athletic de Bilbao in the fighting for trying to get closer to European places? Also a game they will try to fight for. Every time they play in San Mamés, in my head is going to be an entertaining game. Maybe I'm stuck in Guardiola and Bielsa's era when those games used to be amazing. But that's why, as we were talking before with Villarreal Betis, both teams to score seems something plausible. Even more, I believe, with Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona playing in San Mamés, 1.98 for both teams to score.
But the thing is that this Barcelona and this Athletic Club Bilbao, this season, maybe they are a different proposition. Let me start from the beginning. Athletic Club Bilbao this season has played 24 games like anybody else, but they have scored only in 14 of them. So they scored goals in the how would we say, maybe the 60% of the games. So the both teams to score thing for Athletic Club Bilbao is not that common. We have a problem with scoring goals right now. Aduriz left, as you know. I mean, the pandemic retired him, basically. And ever since then, we haven't had like a really good striker. And Raúl García is getting older. He was never a proper number 9, but he was doing the job. And our best scoring asset right now is 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐶𝐜, a player who is a blessing to have for us because he offers quality, physicality. He scores plenty of goals, and from the midfield position, he will reach double figures, I think, for the next 10 seasons because he's got the potential for that. But 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐶𝐜 is suspended for the game because he was sent off against Rayo Vallecano, and he was definitely our best weapon to play against Barcelona. I'm not saying that we don't have a good team with Nico Williams, Iñaki Williams, Berenguer, Muniain behind them. Why not? And also the defense is back to their best because Geray is going to play alongside Íñigo Martínez. Finally, they're going to play together. And then on the left, we have Yuri, who is recovered from his growing injuries, and Oscar de Marcos. So the team seems, with the exception of 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐧𝐶𝐜 and maybe Unai Simón, the goalkeeper, seems more or less complete to play this game. But the problem with the scoring of Athletic Club Bilbao is very obvious. I mean, this season they haven't scored in 10 games. In 10 games, that's a lot. And when it comes to Barcelona, look, they are the masters of the 1-0. They have won 1-0 10 times in La Liga this season, and they got 21 clean sheets in 36 games this season as well, in all competitions. So that points me in the direction of a clean sheet for Barcelona. That pays 265. I know it's crazy to say a clean sheet for Barcelona in Bilbao, but you know, I've seen Athletic Club Bilbao this season attacking a lot and then getting frustrated because they couldn't score. And if Barcelona is the best defense in La Liga, maybe this is going to happen again. So a clean sheet for Barcelona 265 is something that I wouldn't write off at all. So answering to your question, Leo, the goals market is something that I'm not going for this time because it will be basically my nostalgic selection. Yeah. You know, my nostalgia tells me, okay, yeah, this game normally is a high scoring one, let's go for it. But this season, Athletic Club Bilbao and Barcelona are not scoring that many. And Barcelona is defending very well. And there is another scoreline that, of course, I have to point out, which is 1-0 for Barcelona. That pays 7. And as I said before, Barcelona has won 10 games this season by that scoreline, 1-0. So, you know, it has happened and it pays 7. So there you go. I leave it there.
You convinced me. I like that clean sheet, 2.65 then for Barcelona. Closing match day 25 next Monday, we have Girona Atlético de Madrid. Of course, Atlético fighting for a Champions League spot next season. But with the form they are showing right now, even why not to go trying to fight with Real Madrid in second place? They could do it, provided they keep playing the way they're doing it. It seems like Griezmann, Depay, Memphis Depay, and Morata, they're like clicking also all together. Girona lost with Getafe, but they had a good month of February, nevertheless, with 3 wins and 2 defeats in the last 5 league matches. But because it's everything so tight at the bottom, as we mentioned before, should they worry if they cannot get anything on Monday and Almeria, Getafe, Cadiz, and the rest finish match day 25, 2 points behind them? Odds of 2.20 for an Atlético win, also good here.
Yeah, well, answering first to your question, Leo, Girona, yes, I think that maybe they shouldn't worry too much, but they should be looking by the mirror or at the mirror, and just they should check what's behind them all the time. Because, for example, Almeria is in relegation zone, right? 25 points. In any other league in Europe, they could be outside of the relegation zone by this point. But as I said before, in La Liga, the sides of the low part of the table, they've got a very high point tally. So even Girona, with 30 points right now, they shouldn't feel too secure about staying in La Liga, and they should get at least, I would say, 9 points, maybe 11, to make sure that they stay in La Liga, maybe 11, 41, something like that. I think that Girona is capable of doing that. They are the entertaining side of La Liga. They have scored 38, they have conceded 38. You don't see these numbers in La Liga. If you go to the goal difference market, goals scored, goals conceded, you will see that in La Liga we have rather low scoring sides But Girona is a different thing completely. In that sense, it reminds me of a Bundesliga team, or those are the numbers of a good Premier League side. So congratulations to them, and thank you for being in La Liga, making it so entertaining. Of course, they are a little bit of a hit and miss, and they are playing against Atlético right now. You mentioned Antoine Griezmann. Maybe Antoine Griezmann right now is the best player in La Liga. The best informed player in La Liga. The other day, he scored a beautiful goal, but the setup he did for Morata's goal, it didn't count as an assist because Morata couldn't score it in the first place. But then in the second shot, Morata managed to put it in the net. But Antoine Griezmann is playing fantastically. Memphis is scoring goals. I mean, you know how Memphis is. He's got a gifted right foot, and he doesn't like to work a lot. His work ethics are not exactly there. But you know, he adds some quality that Atletico didn't have. I believe that he's more deadly than some other Atletico strikers that we have seen in the past, like, for example, 𝐜𝐿𝐴𝐾𝐿𝐴. And Memphis is, at the end of the day, a player who managed to score 20 for Olympique Lyon before he signed for Barcelona. So he can score goals. He can score goals. Last season, he was Barcelona's top scorer, and he's working for Atletico so far. So for this game, look, since Atletico is scoring goals, the other day they scored 6 against Sevilla. Antoine Griezmann is in a great form, and the team seems to click right now because they don't have the pressure of playing in Europe or Copa del Rey games, and they are focused in La Liga. I think that Atletico is going to score. But Girona is a high scoring side as well. They have scored 38 in La Liga, especially at home. So I'm going to go for both teams to score. That pays 195. If you want to lessen that a little bit and water it down because you think that maybe Atletico scores 2 but doesn't concede because defense normally tends to be their thing, over 2 goals, 160. But I prefer both teams to score, to be honest, because the money is much better, and I think that there is a real possibility of both teams scoring.
Yeah, and Girona even score when they lose, like they show against Getafe, even scoring 2 away from home. And just a little thing about Griezmann, for me, is like a hurricane, a left-footed hurricane. You put him in the number 10 position, he will excel. You put him in the number 9 position, he will excel too. Amazing player, Antoine Griezmann. So that was everything on La Liga Matchday 25. Before we go, Alvaro, what's your safe bet and your ACCA for this Matchday 25 in La Liga?
Yeah, as I said before, my safe bet will be Real Madrid to win the second half against Espanyol. I said before that Espanyol at Santiago Bernabéu normally doesn't do anything. Real Madrid to win the second half, 156.
And what's your ACCA?
My ACCA, Real Madrid to win the second half.
Yep.
Sevilla to win against Almeria. Over 2 goals in Girona Atlético. So you will have to wait until Monday to know if our ACCA is good or not. A bit of suspense, why not?
Yeah,
a total of 406. So maybe on Tuesday you'll be buying a really good sirloin steak for dinner.
Amazing. So let's keep fingers crossed until Monday night. Many thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. And before heading to Oddspedia website to place your bets, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. See you next time, Alvaro. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.